again, a better product or service for their customer, and to share resources, share advice, share tips. And I think that's powerful. I think entrepreneurs know that we are the backbone of the economy, that we employ a lot of individuals, we inspire a lot of individuals, and by coming together, we're able to be stronger together.
That's really, thank you so much, Nova. Now, I'd like to introduce a gentleman that is a global visionary. When I say he dreams big and thinks big, he does. Mr. Johnny Mutimba. And what's wonderful about him, he is the visionary, the founder and CEO of the Pan African Chamber of Commerce. And again, he and I connected on LinkedIn, and we saw that there was a commonality: how to create economic sustainability. And this is what he is all about from a global perspective. But the wonderful thing is he wants to initiate the whole process of back on the Western Hemisphere right here in New York. Johnny, hi, how are you?
I'm very good, Loretta. Good afternoon, and everyone. I'm sorry I'm late. I didn't find the password,
That's
literally.
okay.
That's why I'm late. I'm good.
No problem. So, Johnny, share with us why you chose to start here in New York.
Okay, so I chose New York for the Pan African Chamber of Commerce as a foundation because the world today is truly global. When the chamber started in 2015, many of the entrepreneurs that we were working with were very excited to be connected into markets within the region in Southern Africa where we are. You know, we sent some of them into East Africa, some of them went to North Africa and West Africa. But we realized that from time to time, they were coming to tell us that they want to get into the European market. They wanted to get into the Asian market. They wanted to get into the US market. So I said to the team, we have to put an agenda together as an organization because our entrepreneurs want to get into the global marketplace. So as an organization that exists to bridge the gap between policy and implementation, we realized that, for example, the US has a program called the African Growth and Opportunity Act. That has been around since George W. Bush, but very few entrepreneurs in Africa even know about that opportunity. So our job now is to go and say, here's an opportunity from the US government's policy perspective that can enable you as an African company to get your products into the US tax-free. So we had to have a base, a foundation that can also play a number of roles. The first one is just making sure that our entrepreneurs have a home at a global level. So if you want to get into the US market, where do you start? Secondly, having an office in the US is very important as well because the people of African descent, so Africans in the diaspora, I'm talking about Zimbabweans who are in the US or in Europe, or South Africans who are in the US or wherever. The money they're sending back home is far more than foreign direct investment. It's far more than foreign aid, the money that the Africans in the diaspora send back. So we also want to make sure that the office in New York can become a hub through which we engage with the global African diaspora. It's also for that reason, if you remember at the beginning of the year, Loretta, I was telling you about the Global African Diaspora Forum that are supposed to happen in New York in September. We didn't know, we're talking back at the beginning of the year, thinking that the year was going to be just like that. COVID messed up a lot of plans. So that conference was also going to happen in New York, literally, because it is going to be much, much easier. And thirdly, we want the office in New York to also serve as a platform for Black people of African descent in the US who want to get into the African market. They don't even know where to go. They don't even know where to start. They don't even know who to talk to. So the office in New York was going to play the role of getting African products, African goods and services into the US market, getting Africans in the diaspora to get involved from an exchange perspective of skills, of capital, of knowledge, but thirdly, people of African descent who are born there to actually get involved in investments and business and opportunities on the African continent. So those were the reasons why our chamber had to have a home in New York. And of course, it had to be led by an American woman. That is why, Rita, it had to be led by an American woman because I did this intentionally as a chamber that fosters economic empowerment and support for women. We have to make sure that we don't just talk, but we actually live what we say. So those are the reasons why we're looking at setting the office up there in New York.
And you just appointed the CEO, that's a woman as well, right? Share with us some of her, because she actually studied here in the States.
Exactly.
Yeah, so share that. Mm-hmm.
Our CEO is a friend that I've known for, I think, almost 7 years now. She's well traveled. She has done, programs in the US, in Canada, in Europe, and a number of countries. I decided literally in 2015 that when the Pan-African Chamber of Commerce turns 5, I was going to step down and put a woman in place because I have my other ambitions as a filmmaker. I want to focus my attention, really undivided to the arts and the creative economy. So many people applied, and our CEO also applied. And I'm like, but I know this person. She's an artist, started out as an artist. She went into academia. As we speak now, she's actually a lecturer at one of the universities here in South Africa. I'm going to Durban next week. There's a city here called Durban. That's where she lives. I'm going to meet with her because we've also established a partnership there to open our African Culture Institute. So she's an entrepreneur. She's in the leadership space at the global level. She's delivered lectures at universities literally around the globe. So somebody like that leading the chamber, it is very intentional that the president and the CEO of the Pan-African Chamber of Commerce, they are women and they are different generations and they are coming from different backgrounds, but united by the common heritage that we share, literally. So
Exactly.
she is excited. She is busy, but I know if I want something done, I need to give it to a busy woman, literally. She's able to.
Tony, I have a question. How old is the Pan-African Chamber of Commerce?
5 years old. The chamber is 5. So we were established in 2015. We are 5 now. Our plan for the next 5 years, actually, okay, let me just take it to 2030. So by 2030, we want the Pan-African Chamber of Commerce to become for businesses in Africa what the African Union is for governments. And many people say to me, you are too ambitious. And I say to them, what's life without ambition? So we want to get this chamber to that level where we are promoting women empowerment, youth development, and of course, the position of culture as a tool for economic development and diplomacy at a global level.
Excellent. Now, Nova, you've gotten the appointment of being on the President's Council. Share with me what you think that means to you and how you can see yourself expanding the Pan-African Chamber of Commerce, especially here in New York.
Yeah, well, I see a variety of things. One is strategy around extending the reach of the chamber and the council through collaborations of industries that are diverse. So from fashion to technology to beauty, also to put some initiative forward that are going to solve some inherent and current issues that are still existing in our community. One of those initiatives revolve around our hair. We know how much we're tied to our hair in terms of our identity, our sense of self, and there's a lot of still a lot of negative connotations that surrounds the aspects of our hair based on what the national and international media showcases as beauty, but then also the lack of products that we can use to really enhance our natural beauty in terms of our hair. So an initiative would be to really look at some problem solving solutions that would include involving universities and research to really come up with a system and educational program that we can share within our community to help not only enlighten us about how to enhance this great part of who we feel that we are, but then also to educate us, because I feel like the problem is truly losing the knowledge from our history and not having that. And that just, you have an uneducated person as it relates to our hair teaching another uneducated person. and to break that system.